The war had been raging for decades. The Galactic Coalition, a fragile alliance of a dozen species, was on the brink of collapse. The Kryloth, a merciless insectoid race, had swept through system after system, their swarms consuming everything in their path. Planets fell, fleets were obliterated, and hope was fading. The Coalition's leaders had gathered in the underground bunkers of Velos Prime, their last stronghold, to discuss surrender. That was when the signal came. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there, a single drop pod, streaking through the atmosphere of Velos Prime. The Coalition's scanners barely registered it until it was too late. The pod crashed into the battlefield just outside the bunker, sending a shockwave that rattled the walls. The Kryloth, momentarily stunned, halted their advance. From the smoldering crater emerged a figure. A human. The Coalition soldiers stared in disbelief. Humans were a myth, a species whispered about in hushed tones. They were said to be extinct, wiped out centuries ago in a cataclysm of their own making. Yet here, one stood, clad in a sleek, black exosuit, its visor glowing a faint blue. The human raised a hand, and the suit's systems whirred to life, scanning the battlefield. The Kryloth, recovering from their surprise, surged forward. Their chittering filled the air as they descended upon the human. The Coalition soldiers braced for the inevitable, but the human didn't falter. With a speed that defied logic, the human moved. Its weapon, a hybrid of plasma and kinetic energy, unleashed a torrent of destruction. Kryloth soldiers fell by the dozens, their carapaces shattered, their limbs severed. The human fought with a precision and ferocity that left the Coalition soldiers in awe. It wasn't just a soldier, it was a force of nature. As the battle raged, the human suit emitted a low hum, and a holographic display projected from its wrist. The display showed a map of the battlefield, with the Kryloth's movements tracked in real time. The human's AI was analyzing the enemy's patterns, predicting their every move. The Coalition commanders, watching from the bunker, realized what was happening. This wasn't just a soldier, it was a strategist. The human was turning the tide of the battle, not just with brute force, but with intelligence. "Open a channel to that human," shouted Admiral Valen, the Coalition's highest-ranking officer. "We need to coordinate with it." The human's voice crackled over the comms, deep and calm. "This is Captain Elias Kane of the Terran Vanguard. I'm here to assist. But if you want to win this war, you'll need to follow my lead." The Coalition commanders exchanged uneasy glances. They had never taken orders from a human before, but they had no choice. Under Kane's direction, the Coalition forces regrouped. He identified weak points in the Kryloth's lines and exploited them with surgical precision. His suit's advanced weaponry cut through the enemy's defenses, while his tactical genius outmaneuvered their swarms. But Kane wasn't just fighting the battle, he was sending a message. As the Kryloth retreated, their forces in disarray, Kane activated a beacon on his suit. A signal pulsed into the void, reaching far beyond Velos Prime. Moments later, the sky above the planet lit up with streaks of light. Drop pods, hundreds of them, rained down from orbit. The Kryloth froze. The Coalition soldiers held their breath. From the pods emerged more humans, each clad in the same advanced exosuits as Kane. They moved as one, a unified force of destruction. The Kryloth, for the first time in the war, knew fear. The humans didn't stop at Velos Prime. They pushed the Kryloth back, system by system, until the insectoid race was driven to the edge of the galaxy. The Coalition, once on the verge of surrender, now stood victorious. In the aftermath, the Coalition leaders gathered to honor the humans. But Kane and his soldiers were gone. They had vanished as quickly as they had appeared, leaving only a single message: humanity hasn't forgotten the galaxy. And we're not as extinct as you thought. The war was over, but the legend of the humans had just begun.